Welcome to the 29th lecture in this lecture series introducing international investment law. In the previous lecture, we introduced the topic of MFN standard, that is the most favored nation standard. In this lecture, we delve deeply into the subject. To recollect, MFN clauses in investment treaties obligate the host state to extend the treatment to nationals of the other contracting party, the most favorable treatment that such host state had granted to third parties. Normally, there are two exceptions to the MFN clauses. The first exception is the existence of free trade areas and customs unions, etc. A host state is not prohibited from entering into special arrangements through free trade agreements, and it is not obligated to extend a similar treatment to an investor. But this exception is usually carved out in the treaty itself. For example, Article 4 of the France-Libya BIT of 2004 provides this treatment does not extend, however, to the privileges that one contracting party grants to nationals or companies of a third state by virtue of its participation in or association with a free trade area, customs union, common market, or any other form of regional economic organization. Another exception carved out in treaties relates to double taxation. The France-Libya BIT also states in Article 4, treatment granted under this article is not applied to taxes and fiscal deductions and exemptions granted by one of the contracting parties to the investors of a third state under a double taxation or tax related agreement. Note that if these exceptions were not there, it would lead to accidental multilateralization of tax or trade preference treaties. Other examples of exceptions that are expressly provided in certain treaties are Canada-Peru BIT 2008, China-Benin BIT 2004, and Japan-Kazakhstan BIT of 2014. Next, we deal with the topic of temporal scope of the MFN clause. The question is whether MFN clause is applicable only after the establishment of the investment by the investor in the host state or is applicable even to entry requirements. There are two approaches to this. The first approach is the post-establishment approach. Under this, the MFN obligations are applicable only after the investment is established in the host state. This means that the host state can impose restrictions on the entry of certain investments, but such power is only so long as the investment is established. Article 2 of the Belgium Cote d'Ivoire BIT of 1999 is an example. It says, each of the contracting parties shall encourage on its territory investments by investors of other contracting party and shall admit such investments in accordance with its legislation. So, by linking admission of investments to the contracting party's respective legislation, this post-establishment approach is followed. Another variant of such an approach is Article 4, Subarticle 2 of the UK Mozambique BIT of 2004, which states neither contracting party shall in its territory subject nationals or companies of the other contracting party as regards their management, maintenance, use, enjoyment, or disposal of investments to treatment less favorable than that which it accords to its own nationals or companies or to nationals or companies of any third state. Note that while listing out the types of obligations such as management, maintenance, use, etc., it does not talk about admission. The same effect is established indirectly through a provision regarding applicability of an investment treaty. Article 4 of the Mexico-Australia BIT states, this agreement shall apply to investments of investors of one contracting party in the territory of the other contracting party whenever made to the management, conduct, operations, sale or other disposition of such investments and to such investors. In the past 3 decades, MFN has been extended even to the establishment phase. This is the second approach. Article 1103 of the North American Free Trade Agreement or the NAFTA states each party shall accord to investors of another party treatment no less favorable than it accords in like circumstances to the investors of any other party or of a non-party with respect to the establishment, acquisition, expansion, management, conduct, operation and sale or other disposition of investments. Note that the phrase used here is establishment, acquisition, expansion. So this also covers the establishment phase. Although many treaties provide for MFN in pre-establishment stage, they do so by accepting certain sectors through a negative or positive list. In the negative list approach, the MFN clause applies to all sectors except those mentioned in the list. The opposite effect is achieved in the positive list approach. MFN applies to sectors that are listed and not applies to those sectors that are not listed. Some recent Canadian BITs have followed a new approach. For example, Article 17 Sub-Article 1 of the Canada Burkina Faso BIT of 2015. Basically, the MFN clause is applied to future non-conforming measures while the existing measures which are or which do not conform to the MFN clause would continue. At the same time, the host state is not allowed to amend the existing non-conforming measure so as to decrease the conformity. More on the MFN clause in the next lecture. Bye bye, stay safe. And any reader who's having a look at this video may contact lawbadri@gmail.com for any doubts or issues or for discussions relating to the subject. The references are also provided in the description to this video.